Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Blended Talk. I'm doing another interview today with yours truly, Viva Hoggard, better known as my mom. She's a stepmother as well, so she has experience in that. I said I was going to get some females that has been stepmothers that would like to talk about their experience as well on here. So I thought, why not start off with my mother? So um, again, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself, Mom?
Yes, I am Viva Hoggard, soon to be 55. Uh, my son, uh, I have a son with Clarence Hoggard, and he has three beautiful daughters that I have been blessed to help raise uh, and be a part of their life. So um, we've all been together since his daughters turned 16. The first one came to live with us at 16, now 38. And the next one came also at 16, now 33. 33? 33. Soon to be
Soon
January.
to be 33.
Yes. Um, and also had a short term time as well with his oldest daughter, uh, who was originally from New York or lived in New York and came to stay with us for a while. So I've had quite a bit of experience, which was different because we were raising a son and then three pretty much on their way to being young grown women to come and stay with you was had its challenges. So yeah,
Would you say that since pretty much all of them came here at the minimum age of being 16, if not older, so would you say that with them being that high in age, that it kind of was, you had kind of had to do things a little different than you would obviously like a child?
definitely. Because one, when you become adolescent, well, let me just say this: I did not want to treat them any different than I would you. Um, in my household, I tried to be very spiritual and let the Lord guide me in a lot. And um, them coming, it was in odd circumstances, two of them. And then the last one chose to come and just because I feel like her siblings was here and she was alone, and she just wanted a different experience. Uh, but at that age, boys and girls, 15, 16, they are growing into themselves, and it's not something that you have put in them the whole time because unfortunately, they were not, we were not in a situation, your dad was not in a situation where he had them a lot. So the influence of what we did was not there. So just the raising under their mom roof and how she did things versus how we might have done things, um, and trying to transition it all into a new household for them on top of their own uh, personality growing into themselves. Uh, yeah, it was difficult, but I tried to make sure that I was aware in what each one of them needed as far as character, because you can't treat all your kids the same. But I know I see in one of your episodes, as brother-in-law would say, That, as a kid, you don't understand that because it'd be known as favoritism. But as a parent, you see what each child needs. So you treat them accordingly because they all are different.
How was that initial conversation with dad when each one decided they wanted to come here and live?
Well, basically, on the first one, she just called out the blue. He had not heard from her for a while. And um, I mean, a while, meaning probably 15, 16 years. And she called and was like, Dad, I'll never forget it, early one morning. Um, I want to come stay with you. And he's like, what? this is this Clarence? Yeah, Dad, this Jennifer, and I want to come stay with you. Um, and he was like, I mean, let me talk to my wife, and we'll call you back. And I mean, initially for me, it was no big deal. That's your child. I mean, and if obviously if she want to come stay, I don't know, something's going on. She want a chance to be close with you. I don't know, but I'm not the person to say no. So whatever she needs, that chance, we are able. I'm willing. So, and then the second one, well, she was going through some things, and so, in a black home, you gonna listen to your uh, mom and dad that's working hard for you, or you either gonna get out or get beat down. And that was kind of, I ain't gonna say the situation. It was just a chain of events that led her to being here. Um, and uh, the third one, like I said, she just wanted a chance to come and experience what she's seen her other two sisters experience and to be with her siblings, I feel, and her dad. So, with that, I had no reservations about it. They came a little more often, couple summers, your two last sisters. So I was more, and we would drive up and see them when we would go back down to your dad's home. So it was a little more us visiting one another, maybe talking on the phone a little bit. That's where I would be. I'm always willing and open, and I feel like that's because I was a stepchild, and in some of those situations, it was not good. So I always told myself, if I ever was a stepmother, I would not ever do the things that you know were done to me and my sibling. So
Mm, gotcha. How is it different being a stepmother than a stepfather? Do you feel like there's any differences in it?
yes,
What would you
definitely.
say the differences are?
Well, for one, um, well, let me just say this: being a stepmother, and for instance, I got girls, and you were a stepfather that got a girl. It's just, as far as being a house um, that's trying to do things spiritually, um, the man is the head. Um, and normally, if you have a boy in the house, uh, the moms are always mostly there. So it follows down God, man, woman, children. And me and your dad talked about it because we knew at that time when they came, he worked a lot, and I worked in the home. So for them, he let them know, yeah, you come and listen, whatever she say is just like I said. And if not, then it's gonna be issues when I get home.
So
So
you guys had conversations, like the kind of a welcoming. This is how it's going to be. Conversations with each one of them before they came.
um basically, um it wasn't normally really a welcoming. It was just
Well,
this
not
how
like
it
a welcome.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah, this just how it is.
like
Cause I'm at
explaining
work.
these the
Yeah,
rules. This is what it
I'm
is.
at work, and she here most of the time. So, and most of the time, even if it ain't a step parent situation, a parent, that's normally, if you got any type of a good man, he's going to try to get it and get it hard and make things work for his household. So more than likely, he's at work majority of the time, and it is left on the woman. So therefore, you have to have structure. And if you that type of woman that's in the streets or ain't trying to follow the lead of your husband and let your children do whatever, and then jump on, just not be on the same page with your husband, then your household can just become out of whack. And when it's out of whack, then the husband's out of whack. He's stressed out trying to go to work. Then the children see you two arguing because y'all ain't on the same page. And trust and believe, when children see that, it's just something to get right in the middle and pick their way to doing what they want to do, especially when they see that you're not on the same page. So for me, I already knew when they came, because I knew how your dad worked, that it was going to be a lot on me. And not everybody's willing to take that responsibility, and especially if things get hectic. Luckily and thankfully, I like to just say my loving spirit. You know, your auntie always told me about a scripture, loving kindness have I drawn thee. And, you know, when you love something so hard or you show love, you'll draw them to you. And Yas came a little trouble, but me and her, and I seen, and I showed her all the love that I could, um, to let her know that she can trust me. And I wanted to give her that much trust so that she would make me proud and feel as, okay, she's brought me here. She's allowed me to stay, even though my mom's or my dad isn't here. And we got a good relationship. I don't want to disappoint her. But at the same time, I think she knew your daddy was a little crazy. And she wasn't going to test the waters too much. But, we can expect teenagers to be teenagers. So, um, with that, we all grew close, and, um, and we able to talk about any and everything. And I love her just like she minds. And at this point, you know, um, I just I'm proud of the woman she's became from the time she left her mom. Her mom did a great job. She was just somewhat rebellious at the moment. And then from this point to where she's at now, um, I'm pretty proud of her. Everybody still got learning to go, even with me being 55. You learn things as you go, but especially between 25 to 40, you really learn. And I'm just grateful that she's could come to us, you could come to us, all your siblings could come to us and talk. And I feel like that is something strong that is started from home, you know, and just keeping it real and being structured.
How did you balance love throughout, all the kids, to try to make sure, nobody ever felt left out or felt like, there was favorites?
I recall letting all y'all know that, listen, I can't afford all y'all something every weekend. So this weekend might be your turn, and the next weekend might be your turn. A lot of times you didn't really care.
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure and see how you felt about things. We would have little talks, but you like, this all good, mom, you wanted your game and you was good.
pretty
um
much.
but I seen that they needed that.
Some attention.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like not just material things, but like I said, the being able to talk and just spend time and um, break things down that they felt like they knew. And you know how we always had our talks. Like, you get your whooping. You always say you hated that, to get your whooping. And then we still got to sit down and talk for an hour. But I really needed you to understand. And one thing, why I did that, because my mom used to whoop us or put us on punishment, and it was because she said so. And I don't feel like what I did was wrong. Well, it don't matter. I'm the mama, and I said so. You know, even though as you get older, you realize, okay, it was a reason. But I just feel, um, growing up, you need to know the purposes of discipline. I'm not whooping you or grounding you just because. And you might know the sole reason, but the reason behind it is very important, because it's a life lesson down the line for that. So you need to explain, like when I told you, you got to listen, you got to stop. In my mind, it's because if the police ever pulled you over and you didn't listen, hey, if you didn't listen to me, I'm your mama. If you didn't listen to your daddy, that's your daddy. You ain't gonna listen to the police. You ain't gonna listen to the teacher. You ain't gonna listen to nobody. And all I could see was, if you didn't listen and do what I said, then you ain't gonna listen to nobody else. And I did not want that son, or to get that call and say your son being killed by police, because he didn't stop and raise his hand or pull over like they told him to. Because, at that time, it was a lot of stuff like that going on. So, being able to just spend the quality time, and like I said, recognizing what and what each one needs, and being able to have that conversation and break things down to them. Like, you don't have to be jealous of your brother. You don't have to be jealous of your sister. Like, y'all siblings. Like, it's supposed to be nothing there but love. And I feel like, for the most part, we accomplished that as a family. Like, I'm very proud of y'all. Like, nobody would know that they most people think they're my kids. And I think that's just as well because y'all so close. You know what I mean? Like, and like, you didn't even really grow up with them till 16. I think you and T sang together. Yasmin came when you was like 12, maybe.
Yeah.
And just to see the tightness, and it just makes me really proud, that I know that y'all got each other's back. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be about, well, my mama treated this one different or my daddy treated this one different. I just feel like that's sad. And the same way with being my siblings, like, they way in Denver. And I mean, and one here, but two here. But we all tight. So, um, regardless, different dads, you know, um, and they got different mom. I mean, you just wouldn't know, you know. It's like we grew up in the same house, but that's how my dad was. Your papa, he, even during all his mess, anytime he called, anytime he sent, when the last time you talked to your brother, you called your brother, where your sister, it was like making sure we
Stay close.
keep that connection. So, um, but I think any and every great parent that really pays attention to kid, step kid, whatever. I mean, you should recognize that each one is made different.
Do you feel that there's a way a step parent could overstep a boundary?
I would say it depends, but at the same time, again, if you raise them as if you would raise yours, then no.
So basically, you're saying, if you don't really have a genuine good connection um, with your
Then,
stepchild.
yeah, then there could be boundaries. But at the same time, if you, again, it all goes back to how the household is ran. If a woman supports her husband and she is allowing him to be the head, and the head is saying, I'm working, and he's letting the kids know, if your mama tell me there's any issues while I'm at work or I'm gone, even though, not saying that the man's not never there and not involved, but a lot of times when the man is around, you don't have issues with your kids. The cat's away, the mice would play. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, moms are a little more lenient than dads. Dads are pretty firm, which I felt like it was kind of vice versa with us. I feel like I was more firm with you, and your dad was a little more lenient. If you know that there is not a good uh, system, if you know you don't follow your husband, but again, as I said earlier, it's going to be ruckus because if you don't go down from the structure that the husband, the wife, then the children, and the wife is in charge telling the husband what to do in front of the children, but that's their daddy, and they looking at this woman like she telling you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would they act any kind of way? You know, um, but at the same time, he's always gone because he's at work. Hopefully, you know, and maybe it ain't. Maybe that's why wife's staying frustrated. I mean, it's just a lot of things. But at that time, if things ain't right, I just feel like it's better for um, to bring in or to be womanly or manly enough to be able, for the sake of the child, to be able to talk to their parents and let them know this is where we at in our house, and this is my house, and if he don't get it together, then perhaps she need to come be with you, or what can we all do to get on the same page to get this child grown and gone. And that's just keeping it real and being adult about it, because in the end, the only person that's going to lose is the child. And if you're not on the same page, the next person to lose will be you. And they'll always be back and forth home because nobody stood their ground with them. And you giving in, you ain't making rules stick, and it's just chaotic. So they're getting ready to go out into this world with no rules, no regulations, no listening to nobody, no church background, nothing to make them feel bad and get right and do better. I mean, what did you expect to happen? I remember y'all getting y'all allowance, and your sister, I still laugh about her. And I'm giving y'all responsibility of getting your own deodorant. Um, no phones till you can help pay the phone bill. Um, you got a car, but you had to pay your insurance.
No, I ain't started paying my phone bill till I was about at least driving. I would say that's when I started paying bills,
Well,
when I was driving.
yeah. But you because when you was driving, you got a job.
Yeah.
That's why.
But I still had the phone before I was
Yeah,
driving.
because you got left at the baseball diamond, and I got so upset that the thought that you was sitting out there, and I thought you was with Uncle Bill, and he done left you, and I said, "That's it. You gonna get a phone." But as soon as you got a job, then yes. Oh, and your sisters and them just thought that was awful. You didn't even you wanted to buy your own car. You wanted to pay your way. But I think you felt like that because you felt like if I pay my way and I get in trouble, I bought it. Well, I know you did because I told you it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It's still in under this roof, and you get in trouble. It's the keys are mine. So, you got to have grounds of making them want to do right. You see what I'm saying? I mean, what I look like, just give you car keys and you go out there and do whatever you want to do or break the curfew. I mean, and still just let you keep driving. I mean, what kind of lesson would that be? You know? Um, like I said, as a kid, we don't understand, but that's why we are the parent, you know? Um, and I remember your sister, she still loved to shop. And every Friday she got paid. And I'm telling you got your lunch money for next week. I'll fix me something here. Okay. And you remember a couple times y'all missed the bus, and I told you y'all gonna catch a cab. And she found a way. Y'all found a way real fast because the thing is when you got a job or when you got a a bus picking you up for free. When you got responsibility, why am I going to go out of my way? No. So things like that, she thought that was awful. Catch a cab. No, but it's teaching you, get up, be on time for things. And she learned, okay, if I spend all my money on this, yeah, I'm going to have to fix some peanut butter and jellies and chips and stick it down in my purse and this munch at school because now I'm broke. But I look cute though. But those are decisions in life you got to make. Either I'm going to pay this bill or I'm going to be sitting in the dark. The earlier you learn, the better it is.
Next question.
Mm-hmm.
My mother likes to talk, y'all, if y'all can't tell. So, yeah, Mama, we got to keep the answers to about 2 minutes tops. Okay. Since my mother's a beauticianist, so you work in the shop, obviously, a lot. So I know you hear a lot of good tea, as they say nowadays. Do you often see stepmothers? I feel like you can't most of the time see stepfathers more so than stepmothers, but obviously, there are stepmothers out there. Um, have you seen or met plenty of stepmothers in your day? Would you say? I was just gonna say if
Yeah.
I was just gonna say if so, do you know like any common challenges that they may face or
Well, a lot of them, again, I feel that I'm a spiritual person, and a lot of the things that I hear in my chair, um, God touches me and gives me the words to give to them just because um, some of the things, a lot of people don't have the heart. They want to be with this man, and like I'm like, how can you love a man and don't love his child? How can you want to be with a man but don't want? I wouldn't even want to be with a man that don't want to be with his children. Like, but you expect him to not be bothered with his children because you wanted it to be just y'all this weekend. And I get it, but if y'all live together and his children don't live with y'all, then you got 5, 6 days, just y'all. So
what about the ones? Do you hear many stepmothers that the kids do live with them? The father does have full custody, and so the stepmother is full time stepmother.
I only know a couple, and the couple that I know, they about like me. Um, the dad is,
They're all in.
yeah, they're all in at basketball games, at all the sports events. They shopping as if it was their child, making sure they eat, all that. Um, it's I'ma say selfish ones, um, or obviously they ain't had uh, the ones that I have been at. Like you've got a child, or you've had a child, you got grandkids, and it's okay for yours to be apart, but you ain't got time for his. Um, or vice versa, you know. Um, he ain't got time for yours, you know, but he is live with y'all. Like, no, it can't be that way either. You gotta do it as one. What you do for his kids or what you do for her kids, you gotta do the same with the opposite, you know. And yeah, I see a lot of it, and I try to bring it to the attention to the ones who ain't got it right. You know what I mean? So, and just give them a different way to look at things.
Okay. So obviously, we've been around my sisters ever since they've been kids, and now they're grown. We're all grown now, and we all go to family functions together and hang out and stuff, even with their mother as well. Um, was there ever a time to where you and their mothers, any of my sisters, didn't get along, or you guys didn't really communicate that much because just at the time it wasn't there?
I will never say we didn't get along. Um, the talk was short, and I feel as if she didn't really just get to know me right off. Basically, probably because she was probably upset at your dad, like how you be with this one and you got two over here, basically. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, your dad had a history of running streets. So he just, at the time, it just wasn't a good time at one time. And I thank God every day that he stepped up and got himself together. And when the time was really, really needed for him to be involved, he was ready. Um, so, with that being said, I don't think it was a bad vibe. I can't say it was a great vibe, um, but it was just all till we. I'm gonna say this. I think your sisters and finally knowing that, letting it be known that I love you, you my mama, and I love her because she been good to us, and this is how I want it, and this is how it should be. Like, why do we have to pick? And I think that for me spoke volumes on, you know, how we all raised and took part in it, for them to kind of set those boundaries. Like, and because we all love them, we could come together.
Is there anything that you wish you would have did different now looking back?
Nothing. A lot of times when you let God lead the way, whatever path He put you on, you know it was for a reason. So, no, there's nothing I regret. There's nothing I would have changed. Um, Nothing, because it all ended with love and
What about, okay, yeah, let's go ahead. I'll end it with love.
yeah, and love circumference all. I mean, it love overtakes all at the end of the day. And us loving them, we were all able to come together, you know. Um, them loving you as if, you know, y'all kids loving each other like never before. Like, it's just a beautiful thing, you know. And to know that you all wasn't raised from babies up, nobody would never know.
How would you say that you and your stepdaughter's relationship has evolved over time?
Um,
From the beginning to now to, because I guess, there is no end because, we're all still, rocking together and stuff. So
yeah.
just from very beginning to now.
Um, I like to say that it's the same. Again, just like uh, my kids, you know, you mine, they mine. Certain things I say, I might piss them off, but I'm supposed to tell you as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things I tell you, I might piss you off, but I'm your mama, you know. So, like, is it always peachy? No, but again, I've made it to where they're comfortable enough. And my spirit tell me when all y'all upset with me. And I'm sure y'all know when I'm all upset with y'all. Y'all get the vibe just like I get the vibe. But that's where growth comes in. And that's one of the proudest things that I am of each one of y'all. That y'all know that I'm still your mom. And I don't like how she went about this or how she went about that, but I'm going to give it a day or two and call and say, well, I was feeling some type of way about this. And 9 times out of 10, we talk it out. And as always, because I'm mama, you normally get it and why I said or why I did that. But in the mix of it all, in the last year, year and a half, I have learned just because I'm mama. That don't mean that I can go through life trying to guide y'all, and tell y'all and be mad if y'all don't, because y'all grown and y'all have let me know that. And you got to make your own mistakes and fall. But as any parent, any mother, any father, any stepmother, stepfather that loves their children, you don't want to see them, and especially something you see them headed towards that you know is a brick wall, or you can see trouble coming, because I'm way older than you and I done experienced this. Why do you not take the wisdom and listen?
So in other words, you guys are very tight still, and they call all the time and everything else. She gets invited over to eat and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So, gotcha. Just needed to make sure that's what all that meant.
Yes.
Gotcha. So,
Yes, and I'm proud of. I'm very thankful for that. Honesty is the
okay.
key. Honesty, because without honesty, there is no growth. If you let lies and sweep things under the table, there's no growth there.
And I definitely would say that I definitely got that communicating part from you, because my dad, man, a few words, definitely never communicated nothing. Um, yeah.
His
So
communication is blow up because it's done bothered him so bad. And
that,
then it just gonna come up and come out.
yeah. So let me ask you this. So obviously, all of them came when they was about
16.
16 or older.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I never seen my dad give any of my sisters a whooping ever. So, and that could, I'm sure that could be because of, they came here and already so old, that would, you know, have some type of effect on him wanting to do that. Um, but it's just that I guess you could say I never really seen him just communicate and be soft with them. Even though, I mean, he's different, very different. So sometimes I think I have a hard time um, looking on a man perspective on what to do with my daughters, because it's not that I didn't. I mean, obviously he took care of them, providing and stuff wise, but he never had that um, sit down, talk, communicate about
Boys
boys
or
with them or girls with me. Um, so sometimes I just think, I'm just trying to almost do it just the best way I can. Um, he showed me how to go to work, and keep his car clean. And, you know,
well, I'll say this, and this might be one of the parts of the most important segments of this conversation. And again, I'm gonna just say I have the spirit of discernment, and it weighs heavy a lot, and a lot of times it's so clear. Um, and it's whereas with your dad, all I know is for sure he loved y'all. That was he would give his last breath for you guys. But communicating was very hard because it wasn't there for him as a boy. Your dad worked tobacco fields, cotton fields. Um, his mom had 5 children and did the best that she could do um, off of food stamps, and I think they told me $35 a week for 5 kids. So, you know, his stories of, like you would have baseball or basketball or whatever practice, and he would always, did you make sure you gave them some money in case they go out to eat? I'm like, what? Why you keep asking me that? I ain't gonna send my child without no, knowing they stopping and he ain't got no money. Well, he finally would tell me because, after my football games, I had to sit on the bus because I didn't have money. I would ask, you know, my cousins or whatever to see if dad would send me a couple dollars um, so that I could have money after my games. Because supposedly he was pretty tough in football. But so can you just imagine that, And so a lot of times you get um, or you don't give what you didn't get, you know, and that was something hard and sometimes something we still deal, but I have that discernment to know when something's bothering me. And even to this day, like as y'all gotten older, like he's so proud and he wants to be around and he wants just us on a family vacation. I want to be with my kids and my grandkids. He ain't gonna tell y'all.
Right. That's the whole thing. He
That's the
never
thing.
tells us
He ain't
that.
gonna tell y'all, but he wanna make sure that it's just us. Like he'll back.
Don't you
I want
tell him like? Don't you think you should tell them that?
um I do. Well, I'm that wife that does definitely encourages the relationship because, there was a time for me and T. Well, T and your daddy was about so much alike at one point in time. And she just had a lot internally because she holds stuff a lot. And I had to learn that. And finally she came to me and about a few things as if, you know, he seemed like he can only communicate with you. And I'm like, it's not that, but you had to realize he's been there with you since birth, and then they come in at 16. And I know it shouldn't matter, but it's different for a girl. But one thing I can say is um, she tuned in to his ways and understood and know that he loves her. And that made them better than um, bucking up against one another. So I feel like now they have a great relationship, and they all love y'all. All I know y'all all love him. Like you his dog, you his best friend, really, and he loved to be with you know T and the boys, especially when she cooking. Um, and Yasmin, she just lays on his heart a lot, you know. He constantly asks me about her, and I'm like, babe, call, just call. It's just something hard for him to, I don't know, communication is just because I just simply feel like because it wasn't there for him. You know what I mean? So that's just something kind of hard for him. But I feel like he talked to y'all more now than y'all grown than when y'all were younger. He was at baseball games and things like that, your games and, our family days on Sundays with ice cream, football games, and dinner after church. And those were great memories. But yeah, no, I realized just sitting down and having deep conversations, that was probably more so with me than him. And that's
Okay.
just because the way he was raised. So thank God for knowledge, because that could have been an ongoing cycle if I was not here to break it. Because that was one of the things that Yasmin told me when she first got here, like her watching me and you, and now knowing that before we all ever hang up, it's I love you. You know, they didn't get that. And I had to explain to her, maybe that's because, I mean, it might not have been told to your mom, but at the same time, she shows you she loves you. She might not say it, but she showed you. You know what I mean? It was just different for me, you know. Um, and a lot of times, the only time I got "I love you" was from Aunt Sweet. So in life, you can't go around being bitter because of the things you didn't get. If it's something you don't like, you need to be big enough to say, I didn't like it and I'm not going to be that way. And that was my choice. I knew I'm going to make sure you know that I love you. I'm going to make sure you know when I'm proud. You know, it ain't going to just be me coming at you when you do wrong. Like, you never really have nothing good to say unless I'm doing wrong. You know, that's not good for a child, to me, you know. So to let her know she's beautiful, or when she go to school, and oh, you look cute, or you know, and I love you. Good night. I love you. Have a good day at school. Love you. You know, I think that's very important, and I'm proud of you for that for your kids. They very loving. Um, at least they tell you, you know.
Right.
So and I try to tell all the grandkids that, and they pretty much reciprocate, and I love that. So
So how would you say with you being a woman and all and a stepmother, and I had sisters obviously. Um, how did you guys define the dress code far as I think that'd be interesting, like cuz I mean you're a woman, so
yeah, well,
what
I
did you deem
always,
inappropriate?
I'm sure they took stuff out of the house that I didn't see, but um, in this house, I always try to address being sassy don't mean being nasty. You can be sassy and classy all at the same time, you know.
What is sassy? I thought sassy was like giving lip, like
No,
or having an attitude,
sassy
like
could be for me a swag, a um,
I always thought
like a,
sassy was like oh yeah, she's being a little sassy. Like
no, that is another demeanor or word you can use for attitudes, or somebody uh
so, but another what you saying sassy also means swagged out,
yeah,
basically. Okay,
like, oh, she's
it's
sassy,
new
you
to
know,
me.
like, yeah, like, yeah, she's sharp with it, you
That's that
know.
80s, 70s slang, I guess.
Yeah, you know. So with that, I try to instill that in them. Which, you know, your uh, baby sister always had her swag and her little look. I mean, she just always been a fashionista. So um, I never really had to worry about him. And then uh, Yasmin always took to, for the most part, you know, when we went shopping and we go to Chicago shopping, and she always would take to I feel like their game was a little more stepped up than the average 16, 17-year-old, just from being around me and us shopping, and they considered me being a well-dressed person asking for advice and things like that. So now it's all we can help each other, or T quick to be like, no, mama, no, I'm not, no, or helping me out with something. Um, but yeah, keeping it. I always just talk keeping it classy. Certain things, a certain look for church, certain look for school. There's a time and a place to wear things, and that's been my thing the whole time. It's a time and a place to wear things.
How did it make you feel when Dad had to pay child support? Did that ever kind of like
No,
upset you or irritate you or anything
no, you
like that?
got kids in this world. She's paid for them. I mean, every woman need help, and every kid gets more and more expensive as they get older. So no, not only as far as the child support, like I try to send boxes of stuff, extra stuff, school clothes, you know, whatever I could do. We at the time we could do it.
Have there's any been any type of significant experience that you had to get through as a stepmom, or any type of hurdle that you've had to go through, or anything that brought you, some a little bit of stress?
Yeah, probably uh, a time or so where it was questionable if me and your dad was going to stay together. And, you know, I have this child here that wants to be here. And, it's like, what do I break up this home and start them on another new journey? Um,
Because more than likely, if you guys would have
had a,
split up
yeah.
and we all still fairly young,
Mm-hmm.
um,
What do you, I mean, my heart would still feel because I know your dad would have went straight left, and
as in he ain't gonna do right,
no,
we
he
would have probably been a mess. In other
yes,
words,
yes, not to take care of no, especially a daughter, you know. I mean, and I don't know that me and I doubt very seriously, because I probably wouldn't. If I sent you to live with your dad and his wife and they didn't make it, to allow you to say, okay, I'm just going to take Najee. No, I'm going to come and get my own son. If he can't be with his dad, I mean, he's not saying nothing would be wrong,
right,
and I'm sure at that point in time she probably trusted me, but not enough to say I'm just gonna leave my child with you, and her dad's not there.
right.
You see what I'm saying? So, but thank God, we made it through the hurdle, and everything worked out for the good. Because I mean, it's a lot to consider when there's children involved, and
Do you
a
think
lot.
most people that step into the role of being a step parent think about these things?
No. Most people now today think about their happiness, um, and not the sake of anyone else. Today's world is very selfish, um, very selfish, and it's about what that was a sermon today too. What I want to do without no rules, no regulations, no consequences. doing what I want to do. And that's just not the way the world works. You know, um, it's self-discipline. I could go get with somebody else and it would have been 10 times worse. He might have had 4, 5 kids that just couldn't get straight, you know. I don't know. That definitely wouldn't have been the route I was going, but you just don't know who God gonna bring to your path um, for you to help guide, for you to love, and you know. So, but at those times when times get stressful and hard, because every relationship is has its points, but you got to be truly, truly dedicated. And with that, you have to allow the Lord to be the head of your life. And you can't listen to this, listen to that. If you listen to the Holy Spirit, He'll guide you right. But it don't mean that it's gonna be easy, you know. But I look at the outcome of it, and to know I got, you know, my bonus daughters that love me, just as much as they love their mom, and I love them just as much as I love you. Um, I mean, that's a plus. I really feel like I got these kids, and I know if I get sick, heck, they already tell if you leave that, come stay with me. They don't need he can't go, but I can. Those was the words. So I mean that just speaks volumes. The sacrifice of going through the hard times for the outcome in the end of me having my extras, my all my grandkids and my daughters as well as my son.
It's been it's been a nice interview so far. I think that's pretty much all I got. You got any questions, comments, or anything like that that you want to
Yeah.
ask or say?
Well, I hear you say things, as far as your dad. I like, how do you feel I did as a mom? You seeing me with your sisters, how did that make you truly, truly feel when they came in and the quality time that I needed to spend with them versus, we used to go on dates and things like that on Friday nights.
I think you did great as far as being a mom. I think you was a great mom to me and a great role model, and I think showed pretty good guidance. Um, I think that a lot of the things you told me um, were 100% true, but I also think if Dad would have told me probably 50% of the things you told me throughout our conversations, um, I think it just would have hit a little different. I don't necessarily think it would have changed maybe how I was doing things. Maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. I don't think he was really trying to teach me how to be a man. But at the end of the day, that's what you was raising a boy to be a man. And also another father figure that showed me a lot of things. So and Dad, I mean, he's one of my best friends now. We got a great relationship. I don't regret or hate nothing that happened or anything like that, or have any type of resentment or anything like that um, for maybe things he didn't do or share or talk about with me. Like you said, I kind of just gathered and figured that he don't know how because he probably wasn't taught himself.
Hmm.
Um,
And let me say this. I always tell you, if a person don't admit to their wrongdoings, they will never change. And I can be grateful to your dad for him being able to say, okay, I was wrong. And it might have took a while, but to say, I'm going to do better, you know. And that's a lot of reason why that's all you can ask for. You know, I'm going to do better. And that might be something you need to do because it sounds like there's always been that there for you, for your dad, and you never communicated it.
I just felt like what would be the point because he wouldn't know how to navigate through the conversation.
And that's not true. He probably would have told you, I didn't have that, Najee, so I don't know. I mean, what do you need from me? You know, what do you want to know? Sometimes a person don't know if they ain't been taught. Well, and you can be taught. A baby could teach you something.
Yeah. I mean, it's just more so now. It's just like I said, I kind of already gathered that it's done deal now. Like I ain't really. Maybe if I like had some type of resentment towards it or something, then
you can really
ask him or something. But I don't really care at this point. It's just like
that's just who he is.
It's just acceptance now. It's not, and not that it was anything necessarily wrong. You know,
it's just certain conversations you wish as a boy and a dad could have had versus you having it with me.
Correct. Mm-hmm. But that's not to say I was mad that I'm having them with you now or anything. But as far as with my aunt, my sisters, I 1000% did not care at all. Like when you guys, had your little girl time. I think I've said before. Maybe if they were boys, maybe that would have made me think a little more differently. But they were girls. It's like I don't want to go sit with y'all, get y'all nails done. I don't want to go sit in no shopping store. So
have at it.
Yeah,
you even was the babysitter.
Yeah, for you talking about for Zoe? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
a beautiful thing when I think back to your sister going into nursing school and you was the babysitter in the evening and T was the cook. You helped with the homework and T cook and do the dishes, and we just did great teamwork for them 18 months, to get your sister through nursing school. And I think Yasmin often says, I can really never do enough because of, y'all helped me the way y'all did, but that's what family do, that's what family do. It's kind of good to like get your flowers while you living. I just want to know how you feel as that I did as your mom and flowing into being a stepmom and just doing the best that I could. Me being a stepchild, not that it would, I talked to my parents before they died about some situations, but it's done and over with. And again, if God could forgive us, how can I not forgive, and move on? I don't want that to bind me up or bound me up. And that could have helped me from showing the love that I gave to my girls. And instead, it made me want to be and do the opposite. It was fun. How did you feel moving sisters in?
Yeah, the extra body in here, that's my extra to talk to, yeah, like I thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it necessarily sucked. I didn't really pay attention, I guess, to being an only child. I was kind of obviously, a loner anyway. Like, I had friends that I hung out with and stuff, but it wasn't nothing for me to hang out by myself. So,
it was an adjustment, but I think we did well with it. think we did well with it. And
So, what advice do you have to give to any stepmothers out there that um, may be about to step into being a stepmother, or has been a stepmother for a long time? Um, maybe they not having as much type of a good experience you're having.
first of all, allow God to lead your home, and at least hopefully you be with a man that loves the Lord, because sometimes that's the only way you find common ground. Because at times, you know, you want it your way, I want it my way, but we both know if God says to do it this way, then, and we both love the Lord, and we both want our household to run accordingly, then that's the way we'll do it. Spite of how I want it and how you want it. God says to do it this way. That's the way we need to do it. So therefore, if you having trouble, then you got to look at yourself, look at your husband and the way things are being done. And normally it will trickle down.
Okay.
If the head is right, it normally follows right. But the order you go in has to, because the husband can be great, but if the mama out of order, I mean, if these two out of order, all that's gonna be out of order. If you ain't on the same page, there will be confusion, guaranteed.
Can you still be on the same page and not agree on everything?
You can agree to disagree. Like you say.
So if there is a opinion about something being done and they can't agree how to do it, but they're supposed to stay on the same page, how are they supposed to pursue handling this disagreement?
Compromise.
Who's supposed to compromise?
We both. So, let me see. Let me give an example.
Stairs right down there.
Mm-hmm.
I got a ball. I want to throw it down the stairs. You want me to walk it down the stairs. I think it ain't gonna hurt the wall. You think it is gonna hurt the wall? We agree to disagree. How we gonna compromise? Either I'm gonna do it my way or I'm gonna do it your way. So really, how are we gonna accommodate that?
Because the Lord, anything He gives you, He expects you to take care of.
Okay.
Throwing a ball is going to tear something up in the house. A ball is not to throw in the house.
Mm-hmm. It might have been a bad example, but
well, no, it's a good example.
Okay.
Because with anything, again, if you go back to God, He done blessed you with a beautiful home. Why would you want to throw anything down that way? Take a chance on messing it up.
So I'm not gonna take anything away from God. I 100% believer, and try my best to do it God's way myself. However, we know there's a lot of people out there that their spirituality ain't up there yet. They working on it, and they got a lot of work to do. So somebody who's not really spiritual, don't really go to church. Someone like that.
It's trouble.
Huh?
It's trouble.
It's trouble.
I'm gonna tell you this. It's guaranteed somebody trouble. There's trouble in the home, or it's guaranteed somebody happy and the other one's very unhappy.
But they believe.
No, you said they not really on the same
page.
page.
But they believe in God. Still, I think it's a lot of people that believe in God,
But they're not following.
They're not following, and or
that's what I'm saying.
They
can believe, but if they don't practice and follow, it's trouble, guaranteed, because you just not on the same page. So therefore, one gonna give in. Again, loving kindness have I drawn thee, because I love you. I love the Lord, but I love you more. So I'm willing to do whatever you want me to do so we could be together. And that's if your kids talk crazy to me or whatever. I'm going to just be over here and be pissed off. Or the kids going to do whatever they want to do, and I'm going to just keep going to work and allowing it. And be getting dogged out. And you, the mama, ain't saying nothing to them. You just going to let them keep doing your husband like that. Or vice versa. You know, you going to treat your son or fix your son plate before you fix my plate. And I'm going to work every day. What? Say what now? How that work? And then it's a whole argument, you know. And you hollered, you too damn old to be jealous of a boy. No, I ain't jealous. I just done been to work 60 hours, and how he get a plate before I get a plate? And I'm bringing the food in the house. See what I'm saying?
Yes and no, because I still didn't figure out if I had to walk the bowling ball down the steps or if I got to throw it.
I just told you. Why would you not want to walk it? Because if you throw a bowling ball, it's surely
basketball. I meant
anything.
or whatever kind
it
of ball.
could still tear something up. God done blessed you with something. Why would you want to take the chance of tearing it up?
Okay, you're right. Let me do another example. For instance, I'm going down to Indianapolis. I want to take the highway. You want me to take the back roads. Highway faster, the back roads, let's just say they're both just as fast.
That's not even worth the argument.
Okay, so somebody just give in?
No, somebody need to be strong enough to say, this is not about to ruin our day. Take whatever way, long as we get there. You got to know when to shut your mouth, especially when you know what you're dealing with. Why are we going to sit and ruin our night over which way to go, long as we get there? So who going to be the bigger person? And what does it matter? I think you should go this way, but if you don't want to, okay. I'm not about to have a whole argument.
Is there such thing as being tired of being a bigger person?
No.
No?
Because here's the thing. As pastors say, you got to know who you marry. You got to know who you marry. And there are some people who just, and even if the thing of, okay, if I don't go this way, it's going to be a problem. But here's the thing. If you know it's going to be something like that, then you drive and you go which way you want to go. Okay? But if I get on this side, you're going to sit back and ride. Okay?
Okay.
There's just, like me and your dad, there was an argument every Sunday because he swear I like to be the showstopper going in church because I go late. And pastor have made that sermon when some of y'all been cussing each other out right out here in the lot before you came in. I didn't want to go. I'm tired of going in church upset. It's not that. I just need to get myself together because I did run over. But a lot of times I would try to cook breakfast, get y'all up. Y'all might need a haircut. And it just wasn't no need. Like, I just had to do better.
Okay.
Or, like I told your dad, if I'm not ready go ahead, babe. Just go ahead. Go ahead so it don't ruin the day. And I'll be right there. It's just certain things you got to know. Either I had to do better or you just got to go head on.
It sounds like you need to do better because in reality, you got a husband that wants you to be everywhere he go.
Yeah.
So the day was gonna be ruined if he left.
You right. And so that made me do better as well, because then it got to the point where he ain't going. I ain't going. Go head on. So then I didn't want him to fall out of line with, because that's helping keep him straight. And so the Lord showed me, just get up.
A little earlier.
Yeah, get up. Like, why you want to go through all of this? So that was the sermon today. Check yourself. It's all a compromise. And it's all in, is it worth? Is it worth us going to bed mad tonight over? No. A lot of things aren't. You got to pick your fights. You know what I'm saying? You got to pick your fights. And going back and forth for little stuff, it ain't worth it.
Well, I'm going to end this off with that and say thank you for being on the podcast. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Again, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Again, this is Viva Hoggard, my mother. And hope you ladies enjoyed the interview as well, you stepmothers out there. So stay tuned. We'll be having some more ladies come on here in the future as well.
And I don't think I did give it. Christ. Christ is the answer. And pick I don't know who God's going to give you, but make sure you go to church and y'all try to be on the same page. And women, don't treat your kids better than you treat your husband. And husband, don't treat your kids better than you treat your wife. You are one, and you will treat them accordingly to their needs, period.
All right. Say that. All right, y'all. Again, Najee, Viva Hoggard. Appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more episodes with Blended Talk.
Amen.